Hello, magical people. So, I just finished playing what has got to be my absolute favorite D&D session to date. Because I primarily designed my character being the same one as the last time I talked about D&D, only he has a different name. The name used to be Cowley, but that was far too difficult and stupid. So, I've kind of updated the character. He's the exact same makeup. He's the half-elf, Frankenstein together-looking mother trucker. Only instead of his name being like Cowley or whatever, but I've actually like fleshed out the backstory, all that stuff. And he has an accent now, which is nice. But his name is Alloway Drummond Irving Campbell Kendrick Scotch the Fourth. He's a Scottish-ish accent. So anyway, the session. We are essentially in this city where the police have gone corrupt, more or less, the Kingsguard, because the king is on board with this plan for Fierna, which is some demon devil whatever, who is going to essentially take over the city, and her believers will inherit it, essentially. So there's 3 gangs in this city. We've pretty much disposed of one, not disposed, but like worked around one of them where we found out what they were about. They royally left. They left off. So that was the end of last session. We finished. I burned down their headquarters, which was old ruins of a church. So I burned that down on the way out, because Alloway does that, or Ali for short. So that's done. So that's where we picked off this session, knowing there was 2 more groups left, 2 more gangs left, and we still generally don't know what's going on beyond. There's this archdemon devil, whatever, who's trying to take over. And we know that her devoted, or the strong, are going to inherit. So we go to the second group, which are essentially we already went to the, like, very culty, the life limiters, the very culty. That was the first one we went to. But the second one we went to were the High Street Kings, which were essentially the sons of the noblemen who like to strut their stuff, even though they don't have stuff. Other than equipment, which they were definitely decked out. They were decked out with some equipment, thanks to Fierna, because apparently all 3 gangs are under Fierna's thumb. Is something we learned. So, the group is myself, the Wild Magic Sorcerer. We have Obald's Knuckle Smasher, I think his name is, but I know it's Obald. He was our barbarian. He's a half-orc barbarian, I want to say. Played by Will. And then the third person is Jason, who is our paladin. So only 3 players, because we've had to refresh the session because another player dropped. So, yay. So we've had a little bit of a tussle with them, and then decided to talk it out instead, because we weren't really getting anywhere with the fight, because they had like regenerative properties, where our DM pretty much told us, hey, this fight wasn't meant to be a fight, it was meant to be talk it out. So we kind of fought it a little bit, and then we talked it out in a very like high stress sort of situation, where essentially Obald and the leader of the High Street Kings, Twain, pretty much had a measuring contest of who was more badass. And apparently, like, Twain's father is like the ruler of this city, which is something we learned. He's all like my father, whipping that around. So he showed our paladin a vision, which went to the 2 of us as well, and then he just straight up dropped dead. So Twain is dead, and all his companions are like, and they started running off. So what we did was I took his clothes, and I am extremely proficient in deception, lying, sleight of hand, makeup being the disguise kit. So I rolled a nat 20 on disguising myself as the sun. So I walk up to the castle, which is the father's home, with Obald and Aldrich, which is the paladin's name, in ropes, saying, these 2 like killed everybody, all my friends, and Fierna has blessed me with the power enough power, not to heal these 2, but to capture these 2. Or not to heal my friends, but to capture these 2. So I'm sort of starting to spread the seed of Fierna's not hot stuff. She's not as good as she likes to throw around. So we get let in. I throw we were let in. I'm given a choice of 3 doors. One of them has guards. I'm assuming that's what the one I'm looking for, so I go to that one. They say, that's not what this is. You should know that. You live here. Cast friends on one of them, and I'm like, so, like, you know, so I thought he was BSing. Like, I thought he wasn't here. He told me he would be in here. Where is he? And he's in his office. And I watched where his eyes was pointing. So, I'm like, okay, if he's not in there, it's on your head. So then we went and talked to the father. This is where stuff gets good. So right outside the door is like an armory sort of thing, where there's just weapons and armor and stuff, really decked out. And our DM gives us something called plot points, where we essentially get a voted on rule 0 for the group every session. So the plot point we decided on this time was, I was checking out the weapons and I asked Obald, I'm like, is there anything you think you can use? Do any of these look like good weapons? And he goes, these are made of wax. And then we all start laughing, you know, it's a joke we throw around. So he's like, plot point, they're all made of wax. And I go, I second that. So the weapons were all wax. We took a couple of, I have a bag of holding. I took a couple of great swords and a shield in case we need to fake a fight later. And then we're like, okay, battle plan. I'm thinking in my head, battle plan. I bust in there. We're trying to find information first, obviously. So that's what we do. Bust in there. Bam. I'm like, I tell the story I told to the guards. That killed friends. I was blessed with enough power to capture these 2, but not enough to raise my friends. So Fiona's not all this cool stuff, and she showed me a vision that I want to share with you. And I cast Mental Prison on him, which is a spell out of the Xanthar's Guide, which pretty much allows me to show him like this horrible, horrible mental situation where he takes 5d10 damage, and if he's pretty much stuck in one place, and if he tries to do anything else, he takes 10d10 damage on top of that. But putting aside the damage, I showed him this vision of like Fierna slaying everybody that she said she would help, that she was betraying everybody, and you really thought I would help you? Ha ha ha, you're so foolish. So I showed him this vision of Fierna like wrecking everything. And the dad's like, you know, I'm rolling extremely high. I had advantage on charisma because I had enhanced ability cast on myself. So I was rolling really high charisma, really high persuasion. So the dad's like, oh snap. Oh, I forgot to mention, when we walked in the room, the dad was like, the DM started doing this motion, and then Will goes dipping wax, like, because we're continuing the wax joke. So we all start laughing, and then things get serious again. So he's like, hello, son, father, you know, all that stuff. Give him a bow of respect or whatever. And he goes, I've almost finished making this wax dagger. And we absolutely lost it. So then all this stuff happens, and then I'm like, we get out of him that he was supposed to essentially get the king along, that his part in this whole plot is to get the king on board with this whole Fierna taking control thing. So we found out that like he's the voice or whatever, and so I'm like, okay, the voice, what do you want me to do with these 2? And he's like, throw them in the prison. I'm like, okay. So we pretty much, at this point, it's a lot more than that, but at this point we've extracted a bunch of information out of him. So then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take these 2 to the prison. So I leave. I don't know where the prison is, so I'm gonna try and go back to this guy I already cast friends on, because I know in an hour he's gonna know that I did that. So I go back out, I talk to him, and the other guy, so it was 2 guards, is like, you need to take this guy to the infirmary. He's like, he's different. He's not well. So I'm like, all right, buddy, let's go to the infirmary. Can you hold this door? Are you good with this door solo? He goes, yeah, hold on. And he calls another guy over. I'm like, okay, good. So I'm gonna take this guy over to the infirmary, as well as taking these 2, my party mates, to the prison. So I'm just leading them out, and we're like, all right, let's find a nice shady corner for a murder, because our paladin has these like sandals of corpse walking, which allows him solo to like teleport through one corpse into another within a mile. So we are gonna murder this guy. He's gonna dive through him, come out of Twain, the sun, who I am currently disguised as, and like stage this Fierna betraying everyone by murdering the son, which he's already dead. So, Obald messes him up, and then I try and cast a spell on him. Or I do cast a spell. I cast Dimension Door because he killed him. Our paladin corpse started through him. Then I'm going to cast Dimension Door to get Obald and myself out of there. And thankfully the DM didn't really keep me to the whole, has to be a person of the same size requirements, because I was planning on just getting myself out of there. But then the DM's like, both of you? And I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, okay. So I let that one slide. So the both of us got out of there, and since I'm a wild magic sorcerer, I rolled the wild magic. I rolled the D20 where either a 1 or a 20 means I have to roll in the wild magic table, and that happened, and then I rolled a 7, which means I cast Fireball on my centers on myself. So in a big fiery explosion, I just yell like, Fierna, why do you betray me? That sort of a thing, and then Dimension Door out. Where all they have left is the charred up corpse of the dead guard that I'd cast Friends on, who's now dead. And Obald and I are out of there. And I am no longer disguised. So we pop up, since I just gave a general direction, apparently we popped up in like, the way the DM flavored it is we popped up in a place where there was falling water, but there's no rain. Turns out we popped in, both Obald and I, this big half-orc and I, popped into a shower with an old man. So, that was fun. We didn't knock him out, he fainted. So we just put him aside, left, and met up with our party mate. Because I Dimension Doored in the general area that I knew that was. So then all of us are there together. All three of the party back together with the dead son in tow. And we were planning on like dropping him in like the town square or something. At the very beginning of this session, the reason we found the High Street Kings, or Twain and his little lackeys, was they were chasing this homeless man out of an alley, essentially. This homeless man comes back up to us. And we go, hey, we offered the idea, or rather, no, he offered it to us. He goes, thank you for like saving me earlier, blah, blah, blah. Is there anything I can do for you? And the idea was passed around that take the son's body close to an alley and like just light the whole thing on fire. So it's a good... He teleported out of there. The son, who happened to be dead and not me anymore, reappeared in this alley on fire and dead. So the whole story checked out completely. Not caught at all. We got away with it. And it's the coolest thing ever. Just clean, awesome. We get a nice getaway because the third gang is like in the sewers. They're the sneaky ones. And we're going off to meet with them now. That's going to be the start of our next session, is we're on the way to going to meet them. So I pulled off this whole charade that I designed my character around of being good with disguises, sleight of hand, lying, deceiving, that sort of thing. I designed my whole character on that. I've never been able to do that in the years that I've been playing. I pulled off a perfect ruse, and it was amazing. It was my favorite session of D&D thus far. I even got like kind of messed up with the wild magic, and I took some hard hits, and I got like less than half my HP right now. And we're gonna go talk to this gang that we have no idea what they're about. We know they're under Fierna's thumb, but I love D&D, man. Oh, if you want to hear more about my D&D adventures, please tell me, because I will always talk about them. So, holy cow, I love this session. It's my favorite one so far. So yeah, thank you for watching me and my magical selves, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.